This question is the 2019 Ordinary Level Question 1. It's an orthographic projection question. And it's the figure shows the design for a cordless phone. A 3D graphic of the phone is also shown. So we're asked to draw a number of different things here. So an elevation in the direction of arrow A, an end view in the direction of arrow B, and insert any 4 dimensions. So we're only asked to draw 2 views and insert dimensions. We're not asked to draw a plan, so we don't need to draw that. So what's important for this question is that we get our 2 views, elevation and end view, drawn in the correct spot on our page, and we're asked then to insert any 4 dimensions. So for this, the elevation is looking in this way, end view looking in this way. So what we're going to have to do is our end view is looking in from the left, our end view is going to have to go on the right. So I need elevation here somewhere on the left side of the page, end view on the right hand side of the elevation. Now for all of my questions that I do on orthographic projection topic, I always draw a box around them first. So what is the largest box, or the box that these things fit into? So I'm going to start with the elevation. So this is looking in the direction of arrow A. So the distance across the front is going to be 125. That's the distance that we're told. So I'm going to create a box here that's 125 wide. And the height of this box then is seen up the left hand side. So we've got 30 and 20 plus another 30 plus 60. So 30 and 20 is 50 plus 30 is 80 plus 60 is 140. Now that's not, 140 is not the very top of it. A little bit higher than that, you've got the radius 25 up on top. So 165 is our height. So 30 and 20, 50 plus 30 is 80 plus 60, 140 plus another 25, 165 is the total height that we're going for here. So just creating a box, again drawn lightly, and then the entire elevation fits into that box. This is going to help me in a while to make sure that I've drawn everything correctly, because if stuff doesn't fit, then I know I've got something wrong somewhere. The next part of it then is an end view. So the end view, again, this is looks in from the left, so we draw it on the right hand side. The height of the end view is going to be the same. That doesn't change, it's the same object. So we just need to find the thickness of it, the depth of it, how far back it goes, and we can see that on the bottom left hand side, just next to the arrow B, it says 85. So before we draw that, we just need to do one thing. We need to put in a space between our elevation and our end view. So I generally use 20 millimeters, but 10, 15 is fine, whatever works. So as long as there's a gap between the two, just so that you're not going to drawing both views on top of each other. So this is 85 millimeters that we're given. Again, height is the same, it's the same object, same height. So now when I go to draw these, if everything fits inside the box, I know that I've done this correctly. And also, I suppose more importantly, I know that the whole thing fits on the page, so that my positioning is good on the page, that I haven't started to draw something and then I realise, oh no, halfway through it, I don't have space for the end view. Now it's much easier to restart if you have to, rather than being halfway through the elevation and realising, no, I can't do that. So we're going to start by drawing the elevation. So the elevation has a couple of different parts to it. There's the main block of the phone, which is going to be up here on the left, and then you've got the kind of base that sits into. So I'm going to start with the base, and we've got a distance. There's kind of 2 parts to the base, so there's 3 parts to the base. You've got a vertical bit at the very front of it, and then it slopes back up to a height, to a specific height, and then you got the place over here on the left where the phone sits into. Now where the phone sits in, we'll be able to draw that in there again in a moment. So I'm going to start with just the main size of the block, so the highest part of the dark grey part of it. So that's 15 and 35. So that's going to give us up to a height of 50. So 15 and 35. So the main height of that block is going to be this height here. That's the 50. Across the front of it, there's a very small vertical section up, and that's 15 millimeters up. So I've marked that here. So that's a line straight across the front here. And then we've got the place where the phone sits into that. So where the phone sits in is 30 millimeters off the bottom. So I'm going to measure up here 30 millimeters off the bottom. And just draw a light horizontal line here. And the width of the phone, so we've kind of taken a notch out of this for the phone, that's 50 millimeters. So the width of the phone here is 50 millimeters. So that bit there is the block where that all fits in together. The next thing that we're going to do is we're going to draw on the phone. So the phone, we've already found the width of it, that's the 50. So I'm going to project those the rest of the way up along. So the phone starts at this point, and from here up we're going up 50 millimeters to find where it kind of slopes back a bit and to a point, and then it goes straight up. So we're going to find that point, and that's up 50. So looking at the left hand side there, just above this grey section, it's 20 plus 30, so 50 here. Across there. And then the next bit is up at the top here, there's an arc of radius 25. So if it's a radius 25, the distance from the top down to the centre is going to be 25 as well. So we can measure down off the top 25 millimeters. So halfway along here then is our center. So it's down 25, in around 25 there as well. So taking our compass now, set to radius of 25, point for compass on the center, pencil out on the side, draw in our arc, touches off the top, and touches off this side here as well. That gives us this arc up here up on top. The other thing that's inside in this is a radius 20 circle. So again, from the center out to the side, that's radius 20. Again, taking our compass, point goes into the same spot it was in the middle. Compass set to 20 millimeters, and we're drawing a circle here around the whole thing. That gives us a circle there of radius 20. Final part then just needs to darken in our outside, so this line up here up to where its curve starts, and same on the opposite side. So this completes part A of the questions, draw an elevation in the direction of arrow A. Our next part now is to draw the end view, which is going to be off over here to the right hand side of the elevation. And a lot of this now is going to be a little bit quicker to draw because we already have a lot of the heights. So all our heights are going to remain the same. There's a few distances this way that we'll need to look at. So I'm going to start again with the block down at the bottom, and I'm going to take the heights across, so projecting from the elevation into the end view, taking each of these heights across here as well. So the basic start of this is we've got a vertical piece here at the front, horizontal across the bottom, and then it's going to go straight up. We've got a slope coming up along this way. Okay, and so we'll need to find where that changes. So the first measurement that we need to put in here is the distance from here out to the back. So if you look again, we're just looking at the grey part, the dark grey part. There's the block there, there's a horizontal flat surface up on top there that's 20 millimeters out from the back. So this is the back of the object on the left hand side here, 20 millimeters there, and that joins from here, so up 15 to there, gives us, and we'll just draw that in as a light line to start off with. What we can see there then is where the bottom of the phone starts, so it's going to be coming in along that way. Got a height up there at the front, and that's kind of about as much as we can do with that block to start off with. We'll have a little bit more that we need to do, but we'll come back to that in a moment. Going to look at doing the phone saw next. So different parts of the phone, this place where this changes direction, changes angle is there, and the center of our circles, don't need to worry about that, and the top. So the thickness of the phone when it's going vertical, when it's uniform thickness the whole way up, is 20. So that's from here up is 20 millimeters. And then as we saw, like this part here, that's sloping at an angle, so that's coming from here sloping down this way somewhere, and the thickness that slope out is 35 from the back. So from here joining to that point, that gives us the front of the phone where it slopes. This is the front of the phone where it's straight up. So that almost completes the end view for us. Just need to darken in some of our lines now around the outside. So here, now our sloping line, this one here, is visible as far as it hits the phone. So it's visible as far as there, and then it's going to be a hidden detail line after that, because we can't see the back part of that there. It's hidden from us. Same for this little flat horizontal bit along here. Can't see that either. That's going to be along here, and then finally just one more line to darken in. That's this one. So that completes part B of the question, such an end view in the direction of arrow B. So finally, the final part of this is to insert any 4 dimensions, and it means any 4 dimensions. So there are dimensions already there in the question for us, so we can just use some of them. We're just going to draw them in neatly. Okay, so first one I'm going to put in is the distance across the base here, so the full length of that. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to draw light lines coming down underneath here. Okay, and we'll put just distance out along there, something like this, arrow on each end, and I'll just make a small space in the middle of my line here where I can write in the dimension, and that dimension is 125. Okay, so that's one of them. I can do the same thing maybe off up along here, so light line out, same distance out that this was, so this one was 10 mil, so we'll measure out maybe 10 mil again here. Light-ish line, so arrow, arrow, space in between to write in your number, so that's 15. We can do another one maybe for the radius, so we'll show how to do a radius. So take a line, the angle isn't quite important here, so taking a line there. Okay, and there's a couple of different ways. So we can put the arrow on the outside touching off it, or on the inside touching off it. Because my line extends further, I'm going to put the arrow on the outside touching there, and I'm going to say R25. So the R means radius. As it's circle, it's important that you put in the R. So R25. For the inner one, it would be R20, or you could do the diameter symbol for 40. Both would work fine. Final one then I'm going to put in is just this one up here, the thickness of this. So it's any 4 dimensions. So, but it's any 4 dimensions as long as they're not doing the same thing. So don't put a dimension up top for this and another dimension for the same thing down the bottom. That wouldn't work. So 20 millimeters was the thickness of this one. There into the center. And that completes this question. So that was the 2019 ordinary level question 1.